In this tutorial I will show you how to create a simple web server in Node.js. First of all, we have to initialize a new Node.js project. Because this is just an example, I'm going to skip the project settings here. After that, a file called package.json will be generated that contains our project settings. I want to work with ECMAScript modules, so I have to define this in our package.json file. To use Express in our project, we have to install it with npm. Because we depend on Express in our project, it is called dependency. I also recommend to install NodeMon as a development dependency that allows you to make changes to your code without restarting your server every time. To write some code, we have to create an index.js file first. Use strict mode to write code with less side effects. Use the import statement to add the Express module to your project. After that, create an instance of Express and define a port your server is running on. Use the listen method to define that piece of code that will be executed when your server starts. In our case, I just log some text to the console. We can now start our server by running the node command with our index.js file. As you can see, everything works as expected. With the previously defined serve command, you can also run the server with NodeMon. In the HTTP protocol, there are two primary used request methods: GET requests and POST requests. To receive some GET requests, we have to define a route, in our case the default route / and a corresponding function that will be executed when someone navigates to this route. This function has three arguments: the request, response and the next object. In our case, we want to return some JSON data to the client if someone asks for our route. We can now open up our browser and navigate to our route. Our server responds with the correct JSON data. We could also offer another route to the client, for example a route called page. Instead of returning JSON data, we could also send back HTML code that will be rendered on the client side. Post requests are quite similar. You have to define a route and a corresponding function that will be executed when the route is called. In a post request, the client can provide data in the so-called HTTP message body. In our example, I will just return the data that was sent by the client. To parse the message body, we have to use two Express middleware functions. If we do not use these two statements, our HTTP message body of our request object would be empty. To send a post request from the client, you could use libraries like Axios or Fetch. Because this is not a tutorial about Axios or Fetch, I will use an external tool called Postman to send post requests. After we choose the post method, we enter the address of our web server. Next, we can provide some data to our message body. In my case, I will send the data as JSON object. When you hit enter, the post request with our data will be sent to our web server, from where the data is sent back. At the end of the tutorial, I want to show you how to write a middleware function that doubles all the incoming values from your send array. You also have to provide the request, response and next object. I simply iterate over the provided array with the map function, and for each value x, I return x times 2. At the end of your middleware function, you either call next to jump to your post route that sends our received data back, or you end the connection with, for example, response.json or response.send. After that, we apply our middleware function to our route test. We can now send another post request and we will see that the values in our array are doubled. That's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching and see you next time.